So repossessions are about to explode in the car market. And all these cars that you see behind me right here, these are all repossessed vehicles. And really, we have a seasonality that happens in the car market where we have a repo season. You probably never heard of that before, but it happens every single year. And right now, it's even worse than what we're going to traditionally see in a regular car market, because we're at auto loan delinquency levels that are right at the highest that they've ever been. So what happens in the car market and what's happening right now? Well, we just went through spring selling season. We just went through tax time. And what happens there is people that are lower income earners, they'll be able to have the most amount of money that they'll have all year round. And what they do with that money is they buy cars. And sometimes they come to car dealerships like mine. I'm a used car dealer. I have been one for 14 years. I sell cars that are $5,000 and under. And I do not finance. I don't take down payments. I can't repo someone's car. I just don't have the heart to do it. There's a lot of money to be made in buy here, pay here dealerships, with dealerships that actually do that. But it's not something that I'm able to do. Not to say it's ethically wrong or anything. I'm not going to get into that discussion. I'm just saying that it's not something that my psyche will allow me to do. But what these consumers will do that get this large amount of money, is large to them every single year, is they'll use that money as a down payment on cars that they buy from buy here, pay here lots. And they'll put that $995 down. They'll put that $2,000 down, whatever it is, from their tax return. And they'll buy this car, and then they'll start making their monthly payments. Well, what happens about a month later is a lot of these consumers realize that, okay, well, I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. I don't have the money to be able to actually buy this car and be able to afford keeping up the payments, the insurance, everything that is associated with a car. Something at a lot of these buy here, pay here lots, maybe even a month and a half later, something might break. Consumer doesn't have the money, and a lot of times I hear these buy here, pay here dealers talk about, okay, consumers only have money to do one thing. They can either fix the car or they can make the payment on the car, but they can't do both. So if something goes wrong with the car, even something simple like an alternator or just something that's going to not allow the car to move, then you're going to have a situation where the customer just stops paying for the car because they can't fix it. It doesn't move. They're not going to make payments on something that is not doing what they bought it to do, right? So it ends up getting repossessed, and it comes here. So we have all these customers, all this pull forward from these customers buying cars from their tax refunds, and now is the time period where they're figuring out that they can't make the payments on these cars. So now is the time of year that they're getting repossessed. And let's add in what's going on in the economy right now. Everything's getting more expensive and potentially could even go more expensive. And we have wages that are not going to go up at the same rate that our goods are going to go up. We don't have to have a discussion about tariffs, about what's happening with this administration. But what we know is that most likely, price of goods, specifically for things that you're going to see at Walmart, the things that people buy every day, those things are probably going to go up in price. This hits the lower income earners harder than any other segment of the population. And this is the segment of the population that are buying these cars at these buy here, pay here lots that have to put $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 down. That's the only money they have. And then they have to make $100 to $150 a week payments to these dealerships. And when they don't make them, well, then they end up losing their car. And I can go through here and I can show you what some of these repos look like. And what you can keep in mind is that, okay, well, if someone knows that they're going to lose their car, and you have to know that these people, when they stop making their payments, they know that they're going to lose their car. And in most of their cases, this is not the first rodeo for them. They've been in the situation maybe even last year where they got their tax refund check. They bought that car, kept it for a couple months, and then had it lost. But I want to show you this. There was a repo that was parked in this spot right before the auction is about to start, so they're going ahead and starting to pull cars out. They're going to take them into the auction. But this is what happens to a lot of these repos too. There's two defects that are common with repossessed cars, at least from what I see. Every once in a while, we'll buy a repossessed car, but I'll tell you what we usually buy are trade-ins. And for every 10 trade-ins that we buy, that we look at to buy, there might be 10 repos that we would look at to buy, and we only buy one of them. But as far as trade-ins go, it probably gets 6, 7, 8 maybe. So 60 to 80% of the trade-ins that we look at, that we have on our list, that we check out, we'll buy. But for the same amount of repos that we will check out, we'll only buy like 10% of them. So that shows you how bad, even for a car dealer like myself that sells cars that are $5,000 and under, I'm at the lower end of any kind of range that actually shows up at these dealer auctions. Even with that range, I'm still not buying repos because they're that junky. And I'll show you what typically happens with these repos. Here's a Impala. There we go. Looks nice, right? It's a 2014. It's got 84,000 miles, lower mileage for cars that will show up. And there you go. You have cosmetic big time problems because, I mean, if you're going to lose your car, if you're not going to make payments on it, you get a nick on the side of the car, even if you run it into a pole, is what that looks like. You're not going to fix it. Why would you fix something that you know that you're going to lose? You have other things like this. Scratches, dings, dents, lots of scratches. We have filth like this. Gross stuff in cars. I even touched the seat and I am very disappointed in myself. You have stuff like that. Just wear down. But this is not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the mechanics of the car, right? And that's what, because we can overcome things that are wrong on the car, dings, dents. I can still sell stuff and it can still be safe and it still be good to drive even if it doesn't look good. But what we can't overcome is a car that's just absolutely trashed mechanically, because that's a lot of money we have to put in the car to get it inspected, to get it to where we can even feel like we can sell it to a consumer. This right here is both a cosmetic and a mechanical issue. They're keeping this up here to try to keep the window actually up, because I'm assuming once you take this tape off, then the window's probably going to fall down, the regulator's bad, or it's just completely off the track for that. But that's and there's dings, dents. This is what happens with repossessed cars, and this is why, for the most part, we avoid them. Every once in a while, like I said, 10% of the repos that we'll actually check to buy, we'll buy them. But it's very, very rare that we'll be able to find a repossessed car that we actually want to buy or feel like we can actually make money on it. So here's what's going to happen going forward, in my opinion. We've had this pull forward in demand that we have every single year from the traditional, like, tax time, right? We're also seeing that we're coming up on like the 2, 3, 3.5 year mark of people that bought cars that had these market adjustments on them. This is a big problem for the car market right now. And from a lot of the franchise managers that I've talked to, a lot of salespeople I've talked to at these dealerships, the amount of negative equity that's in the system right now is immense. It's even making it to where some of these deals that are happening or not happening, or some of these deals that have the potential to happen, are falling through at these new car dealerships right now, because the amount of negative equity that is coming in with the trade-in is something that these car dealerships can't overcome. Now, traditionally in the car market, for these new car manufacturers and these new car franchise dealers, negative equity is normal. There's always been negative equity. People will buy cars, own them for 3 years, drive them for 3 years to go trade them in. These people always had negative equity, but it would be in the tune of $2,000, $3,000, whatever. Not a big deal. A dealership can overcome that by rolling it into the next payment. But what we're seeing is that dealerships are seeing consumers come in with negative equity that's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. And how can this happen, right? Well, I'll give you an easy situation where, okay, 3 years ago, someone bought a Dodge Challenger, a Charger. They paid a $10,000 market adjustment, probably on a $50,000 vehicle, so they paid $60,000 for this car. Well, the next year, these Dodge dealers having a big hard time actually selling these Chargers and Challengers. And right now, you can go, or I guess they're not on the lots right now, but last year, you could go and you could get one $10,000-$15,000 under the MSRP. And there's cars knocking and ticking behind me. They're about to start the auction, so they've got them. Oh, and here we go. This is an easy. We got one rolling through right there. That could be the exact situation that I'm talking about. There it is. That Charger right there. But the next year, you could see that same Charger that customer bought, well, they're selling it brand new for $35,000, but that consumer still owes $52,000, $53,000 on that car that's selling brand new for 35 grand. We saw this happen so much. Anytime I would go to a massive auction, see a bunch of repos at these and do videos on it, there would be Chargers, Challengers sitting everywhere right after this happened, because it hit 2021, 2022. And then 2023 and 2024 is when the problems started arising for a lot of these consumers that paid way too much on these market adjustments. We're saying this through the whole time, through the whole situation where there was product shortage. Do not pay market adjustments. We saw the writing on the wall. Banks loaned like 140% of value on these cars. And now these consumers are having to deal with it. It's a big problem. It's going to be something that we're going to be living with for the next 2, 3, 4 years, because these consumers got in way over their head. And now they're seeing that, okay, I owe $45,000, $50,000 on this car, and you can go buy it brand new for 35 grand. I'm never going to get out from under this car. I can't go trade it in. There's no magic voodoo that these dealerships can do to get me out of this car. I can't lease my way out. I can't do anything. So what do? Stop paying for it. Ends up here.